Previously, in our last session, we got to see Enna and Renny accompany Cleanser Armit to the Peachleaf Community Well House. Once inside, they would investigate to find a water weird guarding the well, quickly doing combat with the water elemental, this being a slightly new and terrifying experience for all involved, but thanks to the combined efforts of all three, they would stand victorious and soaking wet after defeating the Well Guardian, securing the village's water source once more. Only moments after the fray would end, our trio would become aware of the spectators that have collected maybe 20 or so feet away from the well house. Seeing the halfling community celebrate, Armit would give a slight push to leave before the party would sort of get pulled into a typical halfling party/celebration. Though, as our party would make their way back to their riding lizards, Renny would be stopped by Kimber Peachleaf on their way out. Kimber offering one more apology, as well as a pair of gloves crafted by the Applewick tailors of Malachar many, many years ago. Accepting this gift and receiving some final goodbyes, the party would mount their riding lizards and set off through the dense forest. Thankfully, due to their early start on the day, Renny, Enna, and Armit would face next to no obstacles on their travels. Well outside of the overbearing heat, wait, that was weird. They would face no obstacles on their travels, outside of the almost overbearing heat that would progressively creep in around, midday and sort of linger on as the sun would begin to fall. But nonetheless, our party would safely arrive back to the outskirts of Summerbend after almost a full day of travel through the Gold Reach, returning Dapple, Biscuit, and Sunbeam to the land corral before they would make their way back to the ferry docks here on the mainland. The trio chatting a bit as they would stride back to the city proper, Enna and Renny managing to convince Armit to hold off on immediately returning to his home in Arlemere, and talking him into letting the pair join him on his trip back west. The only thing Armit would ask in return is that the two would act as retainers in case he is in need of any dredging services in the near future. The session closing with Enna, Renny, and Armit all relaxing and unwinding at the Glowhearth Inn, getting to see each of them shrug off the work and worry of the day, everyone carrying high hopes for what tomorrow may bring. Today's game, picking up the following morning after our trio have gotten a good night's rest in the upper branches of the eastmost sister. Our scene opening on a familiar tavern section of the Glowhearth. Panning into the interior of the inn, we would cut past the front desk, our view turning to the tavern room here on the ground floor. Seeing the many tables, booths, and stools that take up most of the quaint space here. Looking around, we would notice there would only be a handful of patrons occupying the interior here. Our sight shifting to fall upon a table of three familiar faces, each in the midst of enjoying their fairly basic breakfast sandwiches and early morning mead, or in Armit's case, his early morning cup of green tea. Zooming into the table, we would hear Armit just as he would question Enna and Renny, sort of placing his sandwich down, glancing at the pair. Now, before we wrap up our meal here, we head over to Mother Baba's. Was there anything either of you needed to do this morning? I figured one last check-in was in order before actually making our way to Arlemere. It's only fair. He would pick up his cup of tea and take a little sip.
I think we just wanted to talk to Lady Baba before we go. Unless Enna needs anything, I think that's about it.
Agreed. Besides Mother Baba, is there anything that we could only get here that wouldn't be available in Arlemere otherwise?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I would imagine there are many things available here in Summerbend that Arlemere wouldn't offer, but I'm not quite sure if there was anything in particular the both of you needed. And as far as Mother Baba, you both still had questions for her. Still needed to talk to her, I see.
We were kind of interrupted last time.
Yeah, we were kind of in the middle of talking to her about something, so we were just hoping kind of follow up on it.
Fair enough. As per Mother Baba's usual setup, it's customarily one question, so I think it sounds fair enough. One question for each of you. I can't imagine that taking up too much of our morning. I will say I am looking to get back home in a fairly timely manner, but I will also say that I would lie if I would say I wasn't considering trying to go and see if that adorable little cart is open this early in the morning. Those yum yum buns that you had me try yesterday, Inya, those were truly divine, and I will likely have them every time I come back here. So, yeah, there's that.
I imagine Enya, like, has tried to get out there this early in the morning. Like, would she know whether it's open or not?
You would know it's definitely not open just yet. While they do open early compared to some of the other like carts that open up closer to lunchtime, they're usually not up quite this early. All of you knowing that it's about 6:30, 6:45 in the morning or so, Summerbend time.
She sort of claps his shoulder, like, apologetically. And she says, I'm sorry, my friend. They don't open till mid-morning. Trust me, I know.
Next visit, most certainly.
I do have a question, though. Have you ever asked Mother Baba a question?
I have not. I used to think that was why she took an interest in me, though I'm not quite sure that's the case. I always found it so daunting, being able to ask someone like that one question. What question do you ask? What question could I ask now that would leave a true impact in my life? What question would I want 5 years from now? I don't know. It was a hard decision for me as a young man, and even now thinking about it, I'm not quite sure I could pick just one thing I would want her to answer.
So am I correct in understanding it's only one question ever?
Yeah, correct. I have heard special cases, I suppose, where they have been allowed a second question. Never heard more than that, but yeah, that's sort of how it goes. One question, one answer, hoping to gods it's not too terribly vague.
So did you waste your question yesterday, Renny? Not yesterday. When was it? 3 days ago?
I don't know how that counts. I don't think we really talked about it, right?
Oh, no, trust me. If what I interrupted just seemed to be her basic questioning she likes to do. Would definitely know if she was waiting for a true question and giving a true answer. It's well, honestly, it's a bit visceral. It's a very visual experience for anyone watching.
Oh man, now it's a lot of pressure.
Exactly. I'm not sure what to ask now. Goodness.
Yes, I could see the expressions on your face deflated just a little bit. But hey, I mean, it's just one question, right? Some people know the question immediately. Some people need some time to think about it. I wouldn't feel pressured to ask one right away, especially if you do feel a little bit of doubt. That's just my opinion, though.
Thoughtful sipping of mead and munching of breakfast sandwich. Maybe breakfast got really quiet for a moment.
Right.
I like that. Everyone goes quiet, maybe diving into the last remnants of their meals and their meads. Anything particular for Enna and Renny in these, kind of final moments here in the tavern? You could probably surmise that plates and cups are beginning to get empty, so it's not too long before you guys make your way over to Mother Baba's.
I mean, I feel like Mother Baba's is final business for Enna. Like, nothing's jumping to mind as things she needs to take care of here.
Sorry. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I don't know why I feel like there is something else, but
Totally
YOLO.
fair.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. There's nothing we can't undo.
Fair.
Yeah, because I feel like we bought health stuff. Going to another city. We're healed up. I think Renny's good. Yeah.
Perfect. We'd see our party of 3 finish those last bits of breakfast, take down the last bit of mead and tea. Armit looking at the two of you as a sort of final thank you for everything that you've done, and hopefully will do in the future. Breakfast on me today.
Thank you kindly.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Not a worry, friends. Now, come on. We best not take too long. Who knows how many patrons will be waiting outside of Mother Baba's. Armit goes to stand up, pulling out a few coins, leaving them on the table.
Renny will take like the last bite of his sandwich and throw it in his head for lucky.
I love it. Our group of 3 standing up from the table. Armit, again, leaving behind maybe 3 gold pieces as they begin to make their way out of the tavern room, walking past the Glowhearth's front desk and out the bulky front doors. Renny and Enna keeping close behind Armit as they would proceed from the large inn over to Mother Baba's, crossing the upper branches of the eastmost sister fairly easily. The amount of foot traffic up here wouldn't be too dense at this early hour. Moving down and along those walkways carved into those giant branches of this massive tree you are currently atop. After a brief walk over, the party would find themselves approaching the all too familiar dome-topped shack that's entirely covered in plants, flowers, and foliage. As you all move up to Mother Baba's, you can see a lone figure standing just by the shack. Looking over, you would notice an owlin girl waiting patiently next to Mother Baba's door. Armit glancing over from the owlin over to Renny and Enna as you're still sort of in mid-stride walking over. Perhaps we just wait our turn. It is a lovely morning after all. Unless one of you would like to do the honors of asking that poor girl to give up her spot in line.
Oh, I still need time.
Yeah, I'm also pondering my question. Maybe this actually kind of worked out. Might be the first time we've waited in line.
Well, fair. I think that may be true for me as well. As we would see the three of you moving over to Mother Baba's, our group would take their spot behind that lone Allen girl waiting. Seeing Armit, Enya, and Renny standing outside of that dome-topped foliage and flower-covered shack. What would be going through Enya's mind in this particular moment?
I mean, Enya's pondering what sort of question she should ask. Like through the conversation last time, mostly Renny had done the talking, but it briefly came up that like if she were to ask about anything, it would be about her lineage, about her family. But now knowing that it's like a single lone super question, you know, her mind turns to their quest of sorts. You know, the reason she and Renny are even traveling together. So she wonders if maybe she should try to formulate a question around that. So I guess she's sort of oscillating between her head and her heart here. But either way, she doesn't really have the two questions crystallized yet, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. You sort of know the two different sides, but it's quite undefined on what each side is.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I think that's very fair. We would pan over. We would see Renny. What would be going through Renny's mind in this particular moment?
I guess, I mean, he's just kind of partially reflecting on the previous conversation. She somehow got into his head about glory, and then he heard Enya talk about family, and just like, maybe I should ask about that. But then I don't know, it feels like he got a good lead. So now it's kind of like, you know, do I risk asking about my family and then I just get like what I already know, or do I ask about why my dredger's intuition is involving these crazy fish?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's just kind of weighing his options.
And I would say, since the two of you have been traveling together for quite some time, if you were to look over at each other, there is probably a quick recognition of both of you wrestling probably the same question, or at least semi-related question. It would only be about 5 or so minutes of this before Mother Baba's circular front door would effortlessly swing open, as a meek and mild elf with short red hair and dark brown eyes would exit Mother Baba's. Their stride would be unbroken as they would walk out of the shack and past the small line currently formed without a second glance. The owling girl would almost immediately begin to enter, as that door would remain open for the next patron. After a quick moment hearing the owling girl move in, that giant circular door closing shut, leaving our three alone outside of Mother Baba's. It'll probably be about a minute or so, both of you still in deep contemplation. Armit's voice probably sort of cutting through your deep thoughts. Oh, remind me exactly. What was it that the two of you were trying to get into at Arlemere exactly? I know you had mentioned it on our trip back, but honestly have been a little distracted with some of our, well, let's call them findings at the Peachleaf community.
I mean, we found somebody's ring, I believe, that we're trying to just like return, and then also, you know, we're in search of a certain cave, and so we've kind of been poking around, and it seems like it's a little mountainous around Arlemere, so I think we were just hoping to return that ring and just search around for that cave a little bit, you know, a little direction, so you know, just exploring, I guess. We've also never been this far south.
Right. Interesting. I mean, do you have this ring? Perhaps I could offer some insights. I mean, I've spent a better part of my life in Arlemere.
We know who it belongs to, but Enya would be like fishing out the
Oh.
ring even as she's talking. I mean,
Right.
she doesn't see
Okay.
any reason to keep a secret or whatever, so she'll pull it out, show it to him.
And again, pulling it out, it would be a fairly simple kind of like iron band with a small sort of iron depiction of what looks like a hand, all fingers together, palm up, sort of just looking like a palm facing outward, little depiction of a hand just embedded right on this ring. As soon as Armit would sort of give it a once over. Oh, I mean, you know whose ring this was. I guess that is a great start. The only other information I could offer is this would look to be a emblem of the Iron Hands district, a collection of crafters and worksmen located in the interior of Arlemere. I'm not quite sure who exactly this would belong to, but that at least gives you somewhere to start. Again, it's a whole district, Iron Hands, and he sort of lifts up the ring to you and points to the little iron hand. It's just like their emblem, if you will.
Understood. She sort of takes the ring back. Well, that's good to know. At least we don't have to wander all over the city.
Yeah, that's helpful. I think we kind of have a name, so this should help.
Excellent. Well, don't forget, both of you do still owe me some interviews as well as some debriefings regarding your perception on our findings at the Peachleaf community. We'll get that matter attended to as soon as we get to my home, and then we'll cut you loose. Or again, I could play host in the city, whichever you two would feel suits you, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just like the first night till we get our bearings. I mean, at least. I mean, we may stay longer.
Enya nods.
Excellent. I also don't mean to pry too much, but any thoughts on your questions? If there are any to even ask. I mean, I would lie if I would say I don't have a few questions I wouldn't mind asking, but it's just so hard to choose. Maybe it's just a me thing.
I can understand, at least in part. I find myself pulled in two very different directions.
Just still not sure. I don't know. I'm hoping it's one of those, like, once I go in and I'm in space, I'll just, like, I'll just, like, decide.
That makes sense. Feel out the scenario, this dredger's instinct.
Yeah. Well, you just get a vibe for it. Plus, last time she kind of steered me around. I thought I knew what I was asking for.
She does have a way about her. I'm not sure if it's part of the process or if it just makes her feel more involved, but she does that with everyone. Not to say your experience wasn't exclusive in its own way, but
Sure.
sort of part of the process. I suppose. Your true intention. True intention.
So she just, like, never answers more than one question for anybody? Or just, like, at a time?
One question per soul. That is sort of her wording of it anyway.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure if it's a rule she imposes, but she definitely sticks by it for those that are not exclusive enough, I suppose.
How does she have these answers for these questions? I don't really understand that. Is she an oracle?
It is a difficult question to exactly answer. An oracle is a fitting title, I suppose. Her abilities, they are likened to planescallers, those that can communicate with the various planes themselves. Though I've never quite seen a planescaller do the things that she does. From my loose observations, she has a Fey influence. I'm not quite sure if either of you are exactly familiar with what that is, but otherworldly would maybe be a more common word for her abilities.
Interesting. Well, maybe I could ask her without it being my question.
Fair enough. Fair enough. If she didn't answer, you could always make it your question. See what happens then.
That's fair, but I also think I want the question for me.
Right, of course.
Yeah, so I'm like, we'll feel it out. Plus, I mean, hopefully Enya goes first and I can think about it.
That's funny. I imagined you going first.
He just has like a look of like, ah, shit. Well, I'll see if she'll answer my non-question questions. I'll play by ear. Sometimes I just get caught up in the flow of conversation. Who knows what she'll trick me into?
What if one of us asks what the other should ask, and then the other one can ask?
Yeah, but then one of us will get our question and one of us won't. It might be worth it.
I don't know what to ask. I don't know. Like, genuinely.
Don't feel any pressure. If you guys want to save a question, you could definitely save it.
We'll always think we could go back there if we want to, but something crazy is going to happen, and we won't, even if we want to.
We'll be stuck at our beer.
We won't be able to. Yeah.
That was dead.
Yeah.
Poor
this might be our only chance.
I don't know what to ask about. I might have.
I mean, I don't ask about the main quest, but I just can't think what would even be a helpful question. I mean, the only thing I've come up with is where should we go? Which is like so basic.
I don't know. I'm like, do I ask about the cave? Do I ask what the visions mean?
Yeah, I also thought about like, why are we connected? But it's like, how would she know any of that? You know, right? Like, that's what Enya is kind of trying to wrap her head around, is like, what even is this power that, like, what sort of question should I ask a power I don't understand? Like, because I don't know. She's familiar with, like, miracles and magic, like, in theory. You know? Like, she doesn't really do magic directly. She's, like, magic adjacent.
Why didn't the Yum Yum Buns have a breakfast menu?
They don't open till mid-morning.
Question. That's my question.
Oh. What is the Yum Yum sauce secret recipe? We're having our plankton arc.
That's right, airplane.
We're gonna go to Arlemere and we're gonna make yum yum buns.
4 sessions of us stealing the recipe and opening a food cart in Arlemere before he forces us back on track. I don't know. I have a few, but I'm just like, I think when I get in there and get the conversation going, I think I'll just like decide.
Okay, I have a couple questions like in reserve. We'll see what pops up organically.
Should I finally settle on? I don't know. I don't know as a player how much I trust Faye anything, but I don't actually am all that familiar with like the Faye lores. Maybe it's all above board.
Yeah, maybe you're being prejudiced.
Maybe. But, you know, it's how I was raised. It's not me. That was my uncle talking.
Shame.
I don't know. The Fae realm's wild and shady, so I just assume everything Fae is wild and shady.
I mean, she's certainly unnerving.
It's really just all the weird shit that she has like stapled to her walls.
Watch this time we go in there and it's beautiful and pristine. It looks like a tea
totally
shop.
different. Looks like an Apple store. Just like clean lines.
All right. If there's nothing else from Enna or Renny, about 8-9-ish minutes would pass. As after waiting all this time, you would see that hefty circular door open back up effortlessly. Stepping out of the home would be that same Owlin girl, exiting now and looking noticeably more happy. Maybe also noting that, you know, she no longer has a sun hat that you could have sworn that she had when she went in. But she would exit happy nonetheless, as she would probably give you all a small glance. Oh, here you go. Your turn, I guess. Okay. And she would just she would wander off almost immediately. She is a woman on a mission.
Want to know what she asked?
Armit almost immediately beginning to move towards that open door, heading inside with Enna and Renny, again following pretty close in tow. As soon as our party would enter the home, that door would effortlessly shut behind them. Once again, you would take in that cluttered and still almost half-organized interior that is Mother Baba's. Oddly enough, you both would likely see no fireplace off to the side like you did in your previous visit, but on the opposite side of the shack, you would see what looks like a large black metal cauldron. This standing out dramatically with all the other sort of trinkets and baubles here on this side. Seeing what looks like a dark teal liquid inside, boiling hot as if searing. But you see no flame underneath the cauldron, though it bubbles and steams nonetheless. In the center of the shack would be that same long table and chairs. You would see that a few of these chairs on your side closest to you would be empty, while on the opposite side of the table would be the imposing, large, and vaguely elven form of Mother Baba. Greetings, Armit and his dredgers. So pleased to have you back here safely in Summersbin. Please, do tell me of your exploits. Motioning to the chairs closest to you all. Oh, I can fetch a kettle for us. Shouldn't take but a moment, dearies. She would wave her hand in the air, seeing a stray kettle that was just off to the side lift up and carry its way over to the table. Please sit. She would motion to those chairs, Armit moving and taking the one closest to him.
And he'll take a seat, probably exchanging a look with Renny real quick, like one of those looks that's like, ugh, she's exactly how we remember her.
This didn't help anything.
She's just a little unnerving. I'm not trying to be rude.
You both would take a seat as that tea kettle would fly over, sort of floating, levitating in the center of the table. And she would give a secondary wave with her other hand as cups would begin to materialize from the table, rising up as if, being 3D printed in real time, as each of you would have a cup in front of you. Armit probably starting first. Mother Baba, while I would love greatly to tell you of our exploits, I'm in a slight bit of a rush to get back home. We had to adjust our timetable ever so slightly. Though Enna and Renny here, they both did have something they wanted to ask you, I believe. So you would sort of look over to the two of you.
Yeah, well, we had that conversation before we left. And, Armin told us that we could have one question. And, but, before I ask my question, can I ask you non-question questions?
You may ask me any question you like, dearie, but if it is not your particular question, I can't guarantee an answer, silly goose.
No, that's fair. Well, like what kind of questions do people typically ask? Like, is it about the future, the present? Or is that just part of the mystery?
Oh, dearie. I could never tell you exactly what people ask for.
For sure.
It varies person to person. Some people, yes, they crave knowledge on the future. Some want to know how they die. Some
Weird.
want to know if their wife is cheating on them. Some seek questions of the past, curious about past endeavors, former friends. What questions do the two of you have? If I remember, Renny, was it? You sought glory.
Well, potentially glory, but then I thought about it some more. I thought maybe something besides glory. Maybe some answers. Well, I guess before we ask our question, Enya, did you have any non-question questions?
Non-question questions.
Just about the process.
Well, I hope it's not too forward, but how are you able to know all these things for these people?
It's a gift, dearie, given to me by my mother, her mother before her, passed down through blood.
Okay. Well, is there any rules to this question? Are we allowed to kind of ask whatever we would like?
You ask whatever your heart desires.
Heart desire. Okay.
As both of you were sitting there, you would see the bottom of the tea kettle begin to glow red. After a couple of moments of, again, loose talking, this happening sort of during the exchange, it would begin to steam fairly quickly. The kettle on its own sort of flying over, giving tea to each cup before going to rest hovering back in the center of the table. Mother Baba picking up her cup and blowing on it gently. The cup would be like a standard size cup for like a regular humanoid, so it is like comically small in her pretty big, like elongated hand.
Mother Baba, what do you get out of answering these questions for people? Why do you even do this?
And you would see a big grin come across her face. The teacup still pretty close to her face with her hand.
A purpose, dearie. A reason to wake up. A reason to be wanted. Isn't that what most people seek?
Okay. It's like a hobby.
I would call my hobby collecting.
In part. In part. She like motions to the overstuffed shack.
And in part, knowledge.
Man.
Well, if you're not ready, Renny, I could ask my question.
Yeah, if you're ready, that would be great. Just still thinking.
Didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, that was it.
okay.
Still thinking.
And as Enna would sort of show that readiness, Mother Baba would take a sip from her teacup before placing it back down on the table and leaning forward and reaching out a long arm and a hand with elongated fingers, seeing freshly painted cherry red nail polish on her long nails now.
If you're ready, dearie, just take Mother's hand and ask the question your heart desires.
I was a little surprised about the having to hold hands, but quickly enough.
She perks up.
She puts her hand into Mother Baba's and just like lets it rest gently. And says, "Why are my visions connected to Renny?"
Your visions, so you seek knowledge. The truth, perhaps.
Yes, I mean, don't want to hear lies.
And what would this truth give you? Comfort? Ease of mind?
Well, the answer itself is the reward.
A question for ambition, it sounds. You not only seek knowledge, you wish to further your standing. And not only knowledge, but security. A question perhaps leading to even more questions.
Can I roll in it to see what I'm getting from this?
Yeah, roll me an insight check.
Because, like, Enya's more wise than me, so I need some assistance here. Oh God.
As a Natural one.
That's somewhat fitting.
Enya probably being almost equally as confused as Bryce is confused. As I imagine it feels like for you, you've already answered the question. You want knowledge, you want answers.
Yeah. Okay. Is that it then?
Mother Baba probably giving you a once over. You'd see her smile sort of come back.
There are many sources of your question. Very curious.
As you would feel her long fingers sort of wrap around your hand. As for Renny and Armit, you would begin to see the air around them almost looks like they would be heating up. It would be sort of breaking and distorting as if their connection is giving off heat waves, though you feel nothing. You're sitting fairly close to Enya, and there's nothing particular. After about a half a second, Armit and Renny would both pick up almost like a static in the air, like it would become charged. From Enya's point of view, you're just sitting here, speaking with Mother Baba. Her long fingers wrap around your hand, and you would maybe feel a little bit of that static in the air. But you may or may not notice, probably not with a natural one on your wisdom saving throw, but you are unable to take your eyes off Mother Baba in this moment, looking deep into her eyes.
Your question once more, dearie.
Why are my visions connected to Renny?
For Renny and Armit, you can kind of hear Enya, and you can kind of hear Mother Baba, but it sounds almost like they're underwater. Very muffled, distorted, though enough to where you can pick up what they're saying with enough effort. Mother Baba's face would look curiously at you, Enya.
Your soul, dearie, it is ancient. Timeless, before time. Curious. Your visions are due to this. This life. This version of you. As for why your friend Renny is connected to all of this, I do not know. His presence is obfuscated. Dearie, I don't offer this to many people. But do you have a second question for Mother Baba?
And Enya is like really shocked that she's getting this chance, and like automatically she knows like what her other question is. So she almost like immediately leans forward and asks, "Do I have any family?"
Her smile sort of returning.
I need not ask intent. I feel it. A mother that loved you very, very much, my dear. I sense no others. No one else. Curious. No father. No siblings.
You would feel her fingers begin to loosen around yours. From Renny and Armid's point of view, that distortion would begin to fade, as you would see Enya with her hands still placed in Mother Baba's, the fingers no longer wrapped around.
You are a very curious creature, Enya. Very curious indeed.
Well, thank you for that. You're quite curious yourself.
Something else I don't do for many people. I do have a question for you, Enya.
Oh?
What are these visions?
She looks over at Renny. Just kind of like that sort of look of how honest should I be?
What was I? Was Rennie able to hear it? Okay, like he knows what she just said.
Yeah, that last part, like as soon as that sort of strange distortion would drop, you would see Mother Baba's, hand still outreached with Enya's in it, but everything would sound normal now. That strange underwater sound their voices had would be gone.
She was asking what the visions were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if she looked over, he would just give like the slightest little head nod, like, just tell her. That look of like, go for it. Let's see what this is.
Well, let me see. How much do I trust her? I guess after that was pretty convincing. Whatever just happened, right? Let's see.
She's not actually psychic. She's just really good at picking up on subtle clues.
She's just a
Cold reading
close,
a room.
She's a close hand illusionist.
Yeah, a Charlotte. Has a hoarding problem.
I'll say that Enya tells her about the visions like in great detail.
Mm-hmm.
So if no one cuts her off, like this could be a 30-minute explanation.
It's very fair. It's very fair.
Maybe as you start getting into detail, like the first one we pick. Yes. I'm sorry, I just want to take off, but we just sometimes, mostly Enya, we've just had visions that seem to incorporate some deities. And they just seem super real and very serious, but it just seems odd that we, mostly Enya, would be involved.
But the best visions have happened when we've meditated together.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm part of it. She's just had more than I have.
Very
I think
curious.
He's only had one time where he actually saw anything.
Mm-hmm.
Serves.
Mm-hmm. This most recent one was the closest you've gotten to anything Enya has described.
Yeah, that's when he was finally like, oh, maybe this is not just Dredger's intuition.
Very, very curious from the both of you. Mother Baba has never seen anyone quite like you before. And I would speculate you as well, Renny.
Oh. He perks up a little bit.
Mother Baba would look back to Enya.
I'm afraid there are not many questions I could even begin to answer regarding whatever this is. But what I can say, Enya, your soul is timeless. Born and born again, reincarnated throughout time. This was why you got a second question, dearie. A special one.
And she would grab her little teacup and take a sip as she would retract her hand back from you, Enya.
Thank you. She'll also like take a sip just to kind of cover up how awkward she felt. It's like, is that a compliment? I don't know. This is weird. I'm just gonna drink some tea.
Mother Baba would glance over to Armit.
Did you know all of this, dearie? This is rather interesting.
Armit giving like a bit of like a shrug, just like this. He's just out of answers expression. I knew very small pieces of this. I would not say I had quite a vivid picture. Perhaps we could put it that way.
Very, very interesting.
She would take a sip from her little teacup, looking at Renny after she finishes her drink.
And for you, Renny, I could only imagine you have a question for me now, dearie.
So, well, music player. So she asked about the gods and the visions, and she's basically like, I'm not sure. And then she was just like, but you have was she saying that Enya's mom is alive and out there? That she can still sense?
I mean, the question was, does she have any family?
Family, okay. It was just, okay.
Mother Baba's answer was, she has a mother that loves her very much. No siblings, no father.
I feel like she'll hear it. Hi. I'll use my psychic whispers with Enya real quick and just ask. Do you want me to ask how we could maybe find your mom?
I don't think you should use your question on me.
I mean, I got my answers about the apple wigs. And,
Yes.
she can't answer our God questions. I'm not, I could ask something.
It has to do with your soul.
Is that the rules?
Well, I think you get a better answer that way. I appreciate the offer.
Hey, that's okay. That's fair. And then, so after, it just looks like he was staring off in space. Yes, my question. Okay. To me now. He's looking at all the weird stuff in the room.
Mother Baba doing that same sort of lean forward as she sets her teacup down, reaching out a hand towards you. Those elongated fingers and cherry red nails extended towards you.
creepier. It's tiny. Okay, so my question is, now I know we talked about the visions and the god things, but something was calling me to a cave, and I was trying to find it, and I want to know how I can find this cave. It seems important. I've seen the vision. And I don't know if you could tell me how to find the cave or what to expect in it. But mostly how to find it. Unless that's not the right question. I can ask again. I don't know if you need that.
Mother Baba would look curiously.
Or if it has to be a soul question, I could ask about that.
What
I mean, I
would
got this weird
answer
thing.
bring you, Renny? Would this bring you ease of mind, comfort, or is this pure knowledge? A similar trait you and your companion must share.
I mean, maybe, well, I think pods some of the above, because I guess, like, the knowledge where it's at would be nice. But the peace of mind, being able to find it, I think would be the most important. A peace of mind? Is this something I can find? I don't know. I need to find this cave.
A suitable answer.
Mother Baba would have that same wide smile as you would feel her fingers begin to wrap around your hand. From Enna and Armit's point of view again, sort of shifting, there would be that almost break in the air. Like they're giving off heat, these heat waves, but feeling no change in temperature. And from Renny's point of view, you would feel these long fingers wrap around your small hand.
Ask your question once more, my child.
How do I find the cave from my visions? Vision. It was mostly once.
As soon as you finish, you would feel a sharp pain in your hand.
My body.
Like as if a bunch of small needles are jamming into your hand where Mother Baba's hand is touching. You would feel her hand reflex as if she would feel a similar pain as well. And the next thing that Renny, Enna, Armit, and Mother Baba would see would be this emerald green wave that would pulse out from Renny. This air would sweep through the room and be knocking over some of the various bits and trinkets and baubles in the space. Mother Baba retracting back her hand. Renny, you pull back yours.
Is that supposed to happen? Did I do it wrong? Kind of holding his own hands, like, ow.
Mother Baba, the look on her face would be pure shock, mixed with maybe disbelief, confusion.
Did I do it wrong? Was I supposed to drink the tea? I've just been kind of holding it. Of course, my hands hurt now. It's like looking at them to see if they're actually, like, hurt.
You.
Sorry.
What are you?
I'm an Applewick.
This is not what you are.
I'm sorry.
Primal.
Oh.
That green.
Yeah.
It is raw.
Yeah,
It is untapped.
I've seen it sometimes, like when I do this, and he'll make a little psychic blade real quick. If he can. I don't know if there's any repercussions from that, but his intention is just to make the blade to show the same color. Yeah, I was in a cave. There's like these green dragon thing. I don't know. Anyway, after the cave fight, I could just do this. And it took a while to figure it out. It was kind of an accident for a while.
Without a word, Mother Baba would stand up from her chair and head off to her left, where there would be several sort of cluttered bookshelves. Many items about in front of them as well, but Mother Baba would move up, kicking aside some of the items on the ground to get closer to the bookshelf, and she would begin scanning the bookshelves.
It's here somewhere. It's here somewhere. Gods, where is this?
While she's searching, Armit would look over at Renny and Enya.
What in the hells is happening? What are you and what are you? What is this? What is happening?
Is this not how it goes? Well, I mean, I assume it's not totally how it goes. But just there's so many people, right? There's got to be interesting stuff like this.
Renny, I have never heard of her being unable to answer a question before.
That's fair. Well, I didn't think about that. Well, I asked my question, and then my hands hurt, and then yeah, you're right. Does that mean I get a second? Well, I guess we'll see what she says. I don't know. I don't know who we are. I guess that's part of why we're here.
Are your hands okay?
Yeah, do they look fucked up?
You would look at your hand, and
Just like hold.
you could see a red outline where her fingers laid across the top of your hand, as well as your palm and the underside of your fingers would all just be bright red.
It's a little tender, but I think they'll be okay. I don't know. It's never happened.
Maybe it's a good thing I went first. I don't think I'd want to try after seeing that.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, call. He's just like still looking at his hands. Like, oh, this is weird.
Armit, have you heard of ancient souls? Do you know what that means?
I am afraid I have not. This is all rather interesting. There are, of course, beliefs that souls are, in fact, reincarnated. Recycled, perhaps, is another apt word. They are born again, but there is no hard fact behind it. Not even some of the strongest divination magic could give those sort of cosmic answers.
Okay. Well, I guess we. Is there a library in Arlemere?
Yes, of course. Maroon Steels has many buildings in their actual facilities, as well as a few independent shops and storefronts we could peruse. Very fair.
Maybe there's like a book on it, right? I mean, have you ever seen anybody who has this kind of green magic that I have?
Honestly, I didn't think much of it. Especially when you first showed me your abilities here. It was unique, to say the least, but
Yeah.
I thought similar things of Enya, showing her aptitude for wielding the elements. I assumed these were specialties that you picked up in your dredging activities. I honestly didn't put much weight behind it.
Yeah. Well, hers comes from the oppressive flame. Mine's from dredging.
Right.
That's the oppressive flame.
She
She barely mumbles that retort anymore. She just knows there's nothing that's going to stop you from calling it that.
It's a 50-50 mix at this point, is what I like to think.
Yeah.
He's bashed it for so long.
Yeah.
But now he's had the fish and he switches it up.
What did Mother Baba leave to do?
She's like looking for a book, I think.
Yeah, she's searching some bookshelves off to the side.
Oh, okay.
She's just sort of scouring them, scanning one by one books and tomes.
Let me just roll a d6 to see how long this psychic thing lasts.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We at least get an hour. Hey!
Woo! Nice.
Let's go.
It's
It's going to be
Almost
6
out of it.
hours of psychic telepathic communication.
I guess it is through the psychic whispers real quick. Just be like, okay, well, I guess I'm glad we stopped here. This has just turned into, I don't know. This is bizarre. I don't know. I guess we did have that crazy vision, but this just seems like way more than I thought.
Could you hear our conversation? We spoke about you briefly.
About me?
Yeah, she said she couldn't, sense you or something. So that's why she couldn't answer my question about
Oh, yeah. Why we were
how we're connected.
You guys sound a little muffled. Like
Oh.
underwater here, like when your ears are plugged.
I guess I noticed something similar with you, but then that
It was
quickly got overshadowed by the
a little shorter, I guess.
by the blast. Dude.
Can I do a quick insight? I know it's a little past the moment. Just to see what Babba's vibe was. Was she freaked out or more interested?
Yeah,
Yeah,
give me an
I'm
insight
also
check.
curious.
Yeah, both of you guys can. Either you can each make them separately, or one can have advantage. I'll let you
Dirty
guys
20.
divvy it up.
Oh, nice, dude. Dirty 23.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Somebody check their dice.
That's why it's dirty.
That's why I can't use weighted dice in D&D. That's weird.
With the dirty 20 from Renny, 23 from Enna, you would be able to glean that Mother Baba at first was, again, very in shock, awe, curious, disbelief. And then it shifted to maybe a hint of recognition before, I guess, a wave of excitement as she would get up and head over to those bookshelves and begin scouring them.
Well, it seems promising. I'm not going to rush out of here until she finds what she's looking for or gives up on her search.
I think they were both sold. Okay, well, in his psychic thing, well, you have an old soul, and I'm unreadable.
And I have a mother.
That is interesting. She said she loved you. I wonder if she's looking for you. I wonder where she lives.
Well, I thought she said it. I thought she used the past tense.
Oh.
I was too shocked to ask anything. The whole experience was quite, I don't know, hypnotic. I don't know how to describe it.
Makes sense.
It was different than yours. Yours was kind of, she was making exploding gestures with her hands.
All right, well, he'll drop that. All right, well, sorry, Armit. I guess this might be a little bit longer trip here.
Armit,
don't
giving
mind.
you a look. This is an unexpected development, we can call it.
Mm-hmm.
After a good minute, 2 minutes, Mother Baba would finally find the tome she was looking for. Grabbing it, wrenching it open, she would begin to sift through pages as she would begin to walk back to the table. I know I've heard something. Here, yes. Oh, by the hells, it's not. Here, the only encounter of something like this I have ever heard of is from one Clairvon of House Tor, born and raised and died in Nailmouth, founding Silver's Reach, gods, hundreds of years ago at this point.
possessing something he called an archon aspect of a white dragon. There's not much to go on here, but I've heard of something like this. Yes, an archon aspect, ancient, powerful magic. How you came upon it, the gods are only the wiser, but this is rare, Renny. Reincarnation of soul born again and again is one thing. This is a separate beast entirely. How an archon aspect is tied to you, Enna, this I could not begin to surmise. It is very curious.
I'm an arcane X aspect? I have one. Enya has one?
I would surmise you have one.
Oh. Felt like a dragon?
This magic is something rare. What it briefly mentions here, Clairvon of House Tor believed this to be ancient dragon magic.
He's like remembering every time he just like stole from a dragon temple, dragon pantheon, hated his time in the dragon capital. Okay, so is that why you can't read me or like see my future? Is it just like a protection thing?
That is the only thing I could surmise. This power is again ancient. I would say timeless, almost like Enya's case, but wildly different. This is something old, again, primal. I could not even begin to guess where something like this could even originate. Let alone how someone like you came into its possession.
I mean, I didn't mean to. But okay, so it's not very. So is there just like a few people that have this, or is this just like once in a very great while somebody can do stuff?
This is the only account I could say for certain. Though my grandmother did once mention something about an archon aspect and how it could be out in the wild. She sought it, but ended up calling it a myth, a legend. This Clarvon of House Tor is the only person I've ever found that could be even remotely close. Again, claiming to have something they would call an archon aspect. I could not tell you if this is true, though the powers of this white dragon seem important enough for him to be documented as one of the founders of Silver's Reach.
Where's the Silver's Reach?
Far to the west. Nail Myth, specifically. A deadly land. Run by tyrants alike. Though I would not surmise there are good folk there. I would imagine they are there, but not quite the reputation Nail Myth has, you see.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Do you think there would be like answers there about the arcane aspect, or
Your archon aspect.
archon aspect? Yes. Okay. Do you think they would have information there?
This I could not say for certain, my small friend. I would guess you will find information on Clarvon of House Tor, but I could not say for certain if they would even understand what an archon aspect is.
That's fair. Okay. Well, I guess in a way it was a question I didn't know that I wanted an answer to. So this is kind of cool. Worrisome, but cool. He's just like looking at his hands. It's like I gotten into. Huh. Okay. So Arcan aspect, and Enya has an old soul that hasn't been recycled, and we can somehow get visions. This is a lot. Well, maybe I can ask you a question without doing the whole thing. Seems how you've seen so many people and know so much. Just, what do you think it could mean? Even if it's not accurate, your powers aside, just the chances of us meeting each other and traveling and being connected. They're varying powers. Just coincidence to end all coincidence? Or something we should be more mindful of?
The strings of fate push and pull, ever constant, dearie. Why you two were brought together, I cannot say for certain. But it must mean something. I personally believe nothing is a coincidence in this wide, wide world.
Okay. Well, maybe like one last thing. Unless anybody else has any questions, where do you think we could find ants? Like, do you think there's like a library somewhere, or is there another seer like oracle we could try?
Oh, this I could not tell you for certain. I don't get out much, I'm afraid, but between the two of you, and even maybe some help from your friend Armit here, I think your ambition can take you anywhere. Again, the strings of fate push and pull, ever moving. Just try not to let go.
I didn't quite make the most of our conversation earlier. I was quite thrown by how our conversation went, but can I ask, when you sensed my mother, is she alive, or can I find her?
It is very hard to say, my dear. The nature of your question dictates what I see. But what I can tell you is I did feel her love. That was the pinpoint. It was far to the west. But I suppose there would only be one way to truly know. That would be to go find the answers for yourself. If love like that is left over, even if a life is lost, it must mean something.
Thank you. I'll think on this.
Armit, looking at the two of you, probably seeing a little bit of quiet fall over the pair. You would look over at Mother Baba. Well, Mother, I did not mean to eat up all of this or to raise so many questions, I suppose. Mother Baba sort of raising a hand.
Oh, stop, Armit. This was far more fun than almost any other interaction I have. I would very much like to keep in touch with the two of you. You're both very, very interesting to me.
Yeah. How do you mean? Like, do you want us to stop by at some point, or like, do you have a way to kind of stay in touch, or just in general?
Whenever you're here, come see Mother Baba, of course.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll be back at some point. I mean, we always have Armit's trunk. However he gets here.
Oh, it is very true. Amit, if they ever do wish to come back, you best let them through, no questions.
Armit sort of raising his hands. I mean, honestly, all I have is questions regarding these two, but yes, I will let them through the trunk if they need to come back. You have my utmost honesty.
Good.
Thank you.
Suppose we best not waste anyone's time.
Glancing at Armit, and he would give like a bit of a relieving nod. And she would lift one of her hands, and you would see some teal magic begin to coalesce as she would give some intricate hand movements, seeing that teal light create almost like tracers behind each movement. And only a moment later, you would see just off to the back of the shack, again, maybe 20-ish feet at most from where you're currently sitting, you would see that same trunk sort of loosely propped up by what looks like stacks of pots and plates. It's sort of on its side, just a little bit. And you would see that trunk begin to thrum and glow with that same teal magic. Armit standing up, probably looking over at Enna and Renny. Again, Mother Baba, thank you so much for this. And I do promise next time I come by, or our friends here come by, we will be sure to have the good stuff from Humphrey's shop. I know it's your favorite tea. I'm guessing you're getting low, so I promise I'll make it up to you. Tell you all about our exploits next time we meet. Mother Baba giving a bit of a nod.
Very well, dearies, very well. Best not take too long, Mother. Can't hold this open all afternoon.
As Armit would begin to move over towards the trunk, I'd imagine Enna and Renny begin following him fairly closely. As soon as Armit gets the green light, he is like standing up, small half bow, heading over to the trunk and like unlatching it and throwing open the top.
Enya gives a nod goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. We'll definitely, anytime we're in town or nearby, we'll come see you.
Safe travels, dearies. Enjoy Arlemere. Armit has nothing but nice things to say about it.
As you guys approach Armit, as he wrenched open the top of this trunk, you would see that there would be a soft glow of that same teal light coming from the inside of the trunk. As you both sort of come to the side of it, looking in at that light, Armit would look to both of you. Quick tip. I recommend either exhaling or inhaling as you step through. A lot of people assume that you want to hold your breath. Trust me, don't hold your breath. It's a quick way to toss up your breakfast. All right? Understood? As he looks between the two of you.
Yeah, yes.
Thanks for the tip.
Anytime. It's also very selfish. I don't want to clean up your puke from the closet of my study. Transparency.
That also makes sense.
As you would see Armit look down at the teal light and take a very elongated step into it, having to sort of crouch down and lower his head a good bit to sort of squeeze his body through as he would take again. It's from this side, it looks like he's just taking a large step into, a fairly small, not like small, but not widely large trunk. As he's leaning in and stepping through, he would go out of sight, disappearing after this one long step.
Enya will go next. She'll choose to exhale through.
As you step up to the side of that trunk a little and look down at that teal light, sort of getting the same loose position Armit was and taking a wide step into that trunk. As soon as your foot begins to hit that light and the rest of your body begins to, walk through, basically, you would feel almost pressurized, your ears almost popping, as if you raised in elevation, even picking up a momentary weightlessness, this odd combination of feelings passing over you as you would pass through this teal light. As your foot would find solid ground on the other side, you would take the full step, passing through the large trunk, and finding yourself in what would be a very different room. Looking at a small, dark closet you would currently find yourself in, you would see a few shelves with a couple of random items neatly placed on it, a small bookshelf as well, just off to the side, featuring a decent-sized collection of tomes and scrolls. You would see only a single door, seeming to be the one entrance or exit to this small, essentially like walk-in closet that you find yourself in. It's sort of been shifted into this miscellaneous storage space as you see that you've stepped through this almost identical looking trunk, though it would feature some very bright like embroidery along that lid and along the sides, looking just a little bit more gaudy than the sibling trunk that you just walked through. Only a split second later, Renny, you would probably be next, feeling that ear-popping weightlessness mixed with a pressurized step through that teal light of the trunk. For you, it's probably the easiest entry. You don't have to bend down or anything. Your halfling size is just perfectly made for this entrance. Stepping through, Renny, finding yourself in that same space. Armit here with you as well. Again, it is fairly dark. There's no light. Armit sort of giving you both a good nod after like a half second looking at the two of you. No one throwing up. You would see him give a bit of a nod as he would close the lid of the trunk. Excellent. Welcome to my home. Well, okay, technically welcome to my studies closet here. As Armit would move over to that lone door, you would open it up, grabbing the handle, finally allowing some stray light to enter this dark closet that you entered. All of you beginning to step out of this small space and entering Armit's study. Enna and Renny now finding themselves in a very well-kept study. Seeing a tidy, well-made dark wood desk, matching bookshelves and handmade like wall shelves, various stacks of parchment, inks and quills, a few more tomes. You can see that on the walls would be a few pieces of art and decor sort of peppering the space. Also noting that the walls and ceiling here would be made of a well-worked, smooth-to-the-touch stone, like a finely manicured cave that's been turned into this perfect-sized, room. There would be this large rug that takes up most of the floor, so you could only barely make out the stone floor in this particular room. Taking only a few steps in, the candles that would be lighting the space would give off a very unnatural pale glow. All right. I know this isn't much, but this is kind of my happy place. But it is not much of a space for hosting guests, let me tell you that. Here, let's go out to the lounge. I think I probably should freshen up, maybe grab a quick change of clothes before we maybe do those interviews. That's right, I have not forgotten. As our Armit heads to that next door, opening it up, guiding Renny and Enna out of the study and into what looks like a very quaint living room of this home. The vibe and layout of this particular space very much feeling like almost like an apartment. You would see what looks like a large comfy couch, 3 armchairs and a coffee table all nestled by a fireplace. The fire in this lounge sort of having that same pale, unnatural glow to it. Though otherwise looking like a standard fire and fireplace. Armit sort of moving in. Please, you guys could take a seat. Oh, there's actually some assorted whiskeys and rums right over here, motioning to some crystal decanters with these sort of stoppers on the center of that coffee table. I also have a pouch of Emberleaf around here anywhere, if either of you partake in smoking. I'm not exactly sure where it's at, but it's in here somewhere, I'm sure. The kitchen, right over here, motioning to this wide open entrance to this humble, kitchenette. It seems to be like a, well-furnished space. It looks like a stove, a small island in the middle, a little cook prep area, as well as a sink. Again, this whole space feeling like a cave apartment. All sorts of small decor and little bits to make it feel very homey. He would sort of look back. I believe the home tenders, they came by, I think it was right before I came to visit you guys, and we went to Peach Leaf, so help yourself to whatever you'd like in the kitchen as well. Should be fruit, meats, drinks as well if you're just looking to quench your thirst. I shouldn't be long. Again, change up my clothes. And he would motion to his dirty clothes he's been wearing for 2 days. Yes, make yourself comfortable. I'll be right back. And Armit would give a bit of a comforting nod before heading down the sort of only real hallway in this small apartment home. Hearing him move down the hallway a couple steps before sort of coming back. Oh, water closet. There's only one in here. It's right down this hallway. It's the door on the right. My bedroom, it's just the door at the end of the hallway. But if you need to, freshen up or whatever, feel free, hop in there, do your thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're kind of... I ate breakfast and cleaned up before we left in the morning. Thank you. It's gracious.
Anytime. Meanwhile, just start, going over maybe what we encountered in the well house. Just maybe get fresh with the information, maybe go over some stuff together. Hey, that's also fine. It could also be a tag team interview, I suppose. I was thinking individual. We could talk about it more. Let me just go change.
Yeah, no. Don't even worry about it.
As Armit would head back down, again, it's the only real hallway in this apartment. Hearing him walk down, open up what you would assume to be his bedroom door before closing it behind him, leaving Enna and Renny to their own devices here in Armit's place. What would our duo like to do with their downtime here?
Rummage stuff out of his house. Where you hiding, Armit? Well, he wants to do the interviews now, right?
Yeah, Armit figured that he would get him out of the way first. That way you guys basically had the rest of the day in Arlemere to, return the ring or even just, look around or have him show you some cool spots.
Yeah.
You might just put together a little snack for the interview.
It's a good idea.
I just get his bearings in his apartment thing. And then is this downtime before the interview or just for the day?
We'll just say before the interview, basically, before he, gets his change of clothes and freshens up, sort of thing.
So yeah, he might just try and make a comfy spot, grab a little snack, kind of post that. That way, when Armit comes out, he can just we can dive into it because we just made it to a brand new city and I want to explore.
You prep the snacks and I prep the tea.
Smart.
Because we have to spend twice as much time as it would normally take to do this stuff because we need to find everything. We're opening every drawer.
I love that. I love it. For our person prepping the tea, you would find he would have all the normal amenities you would need to get everything started. Also noting that the stove in here, it would have 2 burners on the top, and it would be arcane powered, not needing to use any wood or anything like that. So it's pretty straightforward, easy process to start getting this thing set up. Mm-hmm. But what tea would we pick? You would have several to choose from. Any in particular Enna would sort of be gravitated towards, even just flavor profile?
I'd attempt to make it make sense with whatever snack we're having. I don't want them to clash. But I feel like Earl Grey's pretty inoffensive, classic.
Very fair. Reaching for Earl Grey to at least start. Renny, starting to make snacks. What's your snack vibe? As you would, again, poke through the little kitchenette space, there would be a lot of little fine amenities. You would see there would be sort of on that center island, sort of in the middle of the kitchen, there would be a bowl of fruits, apricots, raspberries, and peaches mainly. Checking the pantry, you'd see there'd be a couple of different choices of bread, a couple different spreads, some random cooking ingredients, a few vegetables. Also noting a few dried meats and well-aged cheeses, as well as a few other, odds and ends you could probably poke around and find.
Totally throwing together a little charcuterie. Maybe slice up a couple cheeses, grab a couple dried meats. Maybe if there's some bread, throw cut a couple pieces of that off. Maybe digs through the dry rations and finds some dried nuts, throw on there too. Just like a little smorgasbord. Not like crazy, but handful of this, couple pieces of that. Just snack stuff. Because I feel like they probably woke up, probably cleaned up, had breakfast, babas. So it's kind of in between of like, I could eat.
I think that makes a ton of sense, especially after getting some heavy info. I'm sure Enya is just ready to start eating her feelings, just trying to
That's right.
hold that feeling back.
What Reddy thinks is a small, reasonable plate. It's like a snack for Enya. But also in the back of his mind, I think he's honestly like, he's like, all right, Armin needs this interview. So we're done with the interview. We're going to go out in this town. And then he just assumes he'll find like food and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Bits. How big is his apartment? Is there just like one bedroom?
Kind of giving it a once over. Yeah, it would seem to be that it's probably like a 2-bedroom, though he has clearly altered one into being just a
Like
study.
an office.
So you would assume he probably took the I guess the master bedroom or the whatever they call it, that sort of main larger bedroom of the two.
Would it be like late morning?
At this point, yeah. Because you guys got up, fairly early, having breakfast around, 6:30, 6:40, probably heading to Mother Baba's by 7. So yeah, it's probably has to be getting close to 8, like at the earliest.
Okay. Then he would also just maybe before he comes out and they get everything together, he would just say that. It looks like there's only one bedroom here. Like I'm fine, like sleeping on the couch or the floor. Like I don't need much, but I don't know. Maybe we could also just check out places to stay or ask him. We're done with the interview.
Yeah, it does seem it's a little cramped here. I guess I imagine something more spacious.
Yeah, I don't know what I was imagining. I mean, now that we're here, it makes sense. But at the time, I was just like,
I agree. I also thought it would be brighter. Like, I'm not bothered. It's just surprising.
It makes me feel like the whole city is just like in a cave. It's it.
Right. Perhaps it's just a regional sort of decoration.
Maybe it's just it. Maybe it's like a basement apartment. I don't know. It could just be the aesthetic. It's just kind of weird to show up at a place, but like not, like we're in the middle of a city that we haven't seen. It's just weird.
That's true. And what sort of city could even compare to the Three Sisters?
The place was so cool. Never seen a place just all in the trees like that. I mean, the complete lack of signs was fine after I got used to it, but
makes you feel like a local.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Not locals like anymore.
Wow, that's true. I don't think we'll be locals for a while.
You need at least 3 times as much cheese as that. That is not enough cheese for 3 people.
It's all halfling portioned. Okay. And he goes back in. He pulls everything back out.
Does it all again.
More. Yeah, basically reduce it, make it normal.
We would get this cute little moment where we get to see Enya and Renny just sort of puttering and milling about this little kitchen, even maybe moving about that small cave apartment. Both of you guys, give me some perception checks just as you're moving about the space.
Oh my god, we're about to be attacked!
It's a setup.
11. Woo! Come on, yeah. Carry. Yeah!
Phew. An 11 for Enya and a 21 for Renny.
I'm distracted by the charcuterie board and his
so upset.
Improper portioning.
As you guys are going about getting the charcuterie board ready, getting the tea prepped, just sort of taking in, again, this home, Renny, it would probably be you that would notice that, I mean, it's been about 15-ish minutes or so since Armit's come back. He didn't make it seem like it would be too terribly long. That thought maybe crossing your mind as Inya, you open up one of the drawers you haven't opened up yet. And as you open it, you would see what looks like a small pouch. It would be sort of nestled just behind maybe some random cutlery, as well as right next to it would look to be a cork smoking pipe. As soon as you maybe open up the drawer and give it like a once over looking at those two odd objects in the back, you would immediately get the smell of ember leaf.
Oh,
Grab the baggie, the pouch, and you grab that pipe. You found the ember leaf stash that Armit was talking about.
you like this stuff, don't you, Renny?
What is that? Oh, yeah. I was almost out. I just had one more little thing, like a little one session kind of vibe. I don't know what you call it. He holds out his uncle's pipe that he uses. I mean, I kind of smoke it. I mostly just puff on it. I think some people think it's a waste, but you should. Well, I mean, you could try some. Here, I'll take some. Well, maybe we just leave that out as like an option next to the tea. But I just feel like it's been a minute. I'm just gonna go check on Armit real fast. He scoops Lucky up off of the charcuterie board. That cheese was not for you.
Lucky's like still nibbling on a little piece he grabbed as you were picking him up.
I guess it has been a while. I'll just grab a few more crackers.
Yeah,
and
maybe
so
you just
she's
add
doing
what's missing. I obviously trust your palate. And yeah, we'll be right back.
She grabs an even bigger plate than what he had and like just completely redoes the setup and adds more.
Sort of moving out of the kitchen and over to that, singular hallway. You'd begin to move down, and again, you would see the two doors. One just on your right here, that door being slightly ajar, and the other one being just at the end of the hallway. Sort of walking down, you can see that slightly open door would clearly be the water closet. Just sort of briefly opening it, or not in here. Moving down to that sort of last door. Walking down, reaching the door, maybe instinctually you check the handle just out of habit, even if you weren't going to just open it, but it is unlocked, just on like a brief check.
Maybe when he was walking down in like Thieves' Cant, he was whispering to Lucky, and he was just like, "That's a normal amount of cheese, by the way. Okay, it was just a snackish cheese board. We were gonna get. Oh, it's unlocked. He's gonna do like the old like hand on the door, hand on the doorknob, knock on the door, and he's just like, Armit, and he'll just crack it a little bit. Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. It's just been a minute, and we were just pretty much almost ready for your interview.
Giving it that little knock, giving it open as you're talking, and just opening it maybe a couple of inches just to see a nice, slice of the room. The small piece of the room you can see would be in a pure chaotic state. The glimpse of the large bed you could see would have many slashes on the blanket and in the mattress. There would maybe what looks to be maybe blood splattered across it. In your line of vision, there is also what looks like was maybe like a art piece hanging on the wall that is now on the ground. Looks like it's been stepped on, sort of like cracked in half, the actual frame of it. And with your small line of vision, that's all you pick up.
Here, this is Psychic Whispers. Okay, Enya, don't like play it cool, just in case. But maybe like I think something happened in Armit's room. I don't know if this was before he came to get us, but I see some blood and some slash marks. I'm just gonna go in his room. Maybe did you hear anything? And as he kind of asks that, he'll like slowly kind of creak the door open at the same time, like fully. And then maybe he'll summon his psychic blade and is off in the hand, not opening the door.
Emerald shimmering blades sort of just appearing in your hand as you push open that door. And you're beginning to sort of walk out of the kitchen, I would imagine, just sort of at least coming to be in that hallway.
Yes. You nailed it.
As you begin to push open that door and begin to see more of this scene, Renny, you would would fully take in that large bed, being almost like a feature piece of the room. It would have a lot of blood splattered across it. Several of those slash marks would be all along the surface of the bed. Blankets, pillows. You would see several art pieces that were once hung up around the room would be smashed on the ground, some in pieces, some just off of where they were resting. You could see what looks like a nightstand flanking the bed. It's recently been crushed. You can see what looks like an independent freestanding wardrobe that's doors have both been almost smashed in. Taking in this scene, and yet even from how far back you are, as the door opens, you can even begin to see minor signs of this beginning to take a few steps forward. Renny, as the door is, opening, swinging open silently to reveal this terrible scene that is just, slowly coming into view. The last thing you would pick up after this pure chaos would be in the far left corner. You would see Cleanser Armit laying in a motionless, bloody heap over in that left corner. In this split second of recognition, what would Renny do?
Creak open the door. I see him. For my own placement, the front door is like opposite, right? Like there shouldn't be an easy way in or out.
Correct.
Okay.
You guys, assumingly saw the front door. It was essentially, in that living room area.
Okay. So, Psychic Blade opens the door, sees him down. I think he would. Honestly, he would probably approach just to see like if he's like alive or dying. But like as he's entering the room, he's just gonna as he steps in, if there's like wall to his he's looking for somebody. He's like, I don't understand. Yeah. So opens the door, sees Armit, and probably the psychic whispers as he approaches. He's like, Armit's been attacked. I don't know if he's alive or not, but he looks pretty bad. And yeah, just keep an eye out, head on a swivel. As he just kind of rushes in to check on him.
Enya beginning moving down that hallway, essentially hitting the door frame. As Renny, you fully enter that room, crossing the chaotic scene that clearly looks like a fight took place in here. Both of you give me perception checks one more time.
Uh-oh. We got it.
And you just use the psychic whispers just in case. I don't know if somebody used silence in here or what. Are you eat a Snickers? You're not you and you're hungry.
So that is a natural one collectively for a 7 for Enya.
12. That guy checks out. I'm a little like
as that shock is setting in. As you get to Cleanser Armit, you would look down at this bloody heap as you reach the body. Touching him, you would move him over. There'd be no speech. There'd be no reaction as you would see the bloody mess of a killed Cleanser Armit laying in a pool of his own blood. In this moment, you almost can't even hear your own heart beating. You're just staring down, almost speechless. Before only a moment later, you would feel a sharp pain pierce your side, Renny. From Enya's point of view, you would watch as Renny would quickly head into the room as you get to that doorway, looking and seeing him reach Armit's side, moving the body over to fully display and confirm that he had been killed. As he would reach the body, only a second later, a previously invisible figure would appear. Seeing a humanoid covered in black leather and a hood obscuring their face. Noting that this figure that just appeared out of nowhere has a short sword in their hand. Seeing that the tip of the blade has been plunged into the ribcage of Renny. And I think that's where we'll end our session for today.
Why you do this to me, man? Why you do this, man?
Oh my god!
That's not nice, man.
No, I'm sorry you got stabbed.
I
was thinking about cheese.
I prepped it for 3.
What a cliffhanger.
I looked at the time. As soon as I said I got stabbed, I was like, oh, wait, what time is it? Nah.
Almost 2 hours exactly.
Yeah. Wait, we have 1 minute. We could do the fight.
We could do it. Roll
We could
for
do it.
initiative.
Roll.
Come on, man. I just need a hit.